Stop celebrating top-line revenue. It's a vanity metric. I advise agencies with 50 million in revenue that are weeks away from insolvency. They sell more, they lose more. You are like scaling inefficiency instead of profit. I will show you how to fix your margins. I'm Mike Kiley, and I spent 30 years in professional services, including 14 years at WPP and Kantar. I now run a team of experts who help firms like yours find and fix profit leaks. Last week, we launched our Profit and Capacity Diagnostic, and the response has actually been great. But I keep getting the same question. Mike, we're busier than ever. Revenue's up, but where's the money? And let me show you exactly where it's going. Here's the professional services paradox. What you see is revenue growing year over year, fully booked teams, big name clients, and constant new business wins. What's really happening though is margins are shrinking from 20% down to 5%. Cash flow is getting tighter and tighter every month. And your owner take home is less than your senior employees. You're 1 month away from a crisis. This isn't rare, it's surprisingly common in professional services. And after all, cash flow issues are the number one reason why businesses fail. I think it's around 82%. I see it in every firm we analyze. And here's why it happens. Everyone celebrates revenue. Your team gets excited. Your competitors get jealous. But revenue without profit is just expensive noise. Let me give you the framework we use, which is revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. You can have all the revenue in the world, but if you're not profitable, you're just running a very expensive hobby. And if you don't have cash, you're out of business, no matter what your P&L says. Let me show you real data from real firms that we've diagnosed. The first root cause is the anchor client trap. Everyone wants an anchor client. You land the $8 million account, you think you're safe. But in my analysis, those accounts are often the biggest source of overwork loss. The contract is big, so your team stops counting hours. They say yes to everything. They deliver custom processes that don't scale. This is not a service. This is scope creep disguised as client relationship. The framework quantifies this. You're delivering thousands of unbilled hours because you're afraid to say no. Then comes the discount loss. Because they're strategic, you agree the lower rates. You accept bad payment terms, and that strangles your cash flow. You're now losing 8 cents on the dollar, and this isn't an anchor, it's become a dead weight. You must audit your biggest client today. If the actual gross margin is negative, you don't have a partner, you just have a hostage situation. The second root cause is what we call the seniority trap. Here's what kills margins faster than anything. Senior people doing junior work. I recently deployed our leaky bucket framework to a brand consultancy. The top line numbers looked fine, but the diagnosis exposed a massive hole in their profit, and we call this the leverage loss. Here's what the data showed. Their partners billed $300 an hour, but they spend 40% of their time doing work that a $75 an hour associate should handle. They claimed they were the only ones who knew the client. They claimed it was faster to do it themselves, but actually the math disagrees. That's actually a $225 per hour variance. Multiply that by 20 hours a week, and that actually comes up to $225,000 in margin per partner per year. You aren't saving time, you're paying senior prices for junior work. This isn't a delivery problem, it's a pricing discipline failure. And the third root cause is what we call a good client subsidy. This is the most insidious problem. Your profitable clients are subsidizing your unprofitable ones, and you have no idea it's happening. Look at this scatter plot. Each dot is a project. X-axis is revenue, and Y-axis is margin. All of these dots below zero, well, these are projects that actually lost you money. They're hidden by the winners above the line. And this firm, for example, they thought they were making 13% margin. But the reality was, 30% of their projects were making 40% margins, and these were their heroes. 40% of the projects were breaking even, so they're basically working for free, and 30% of their projects had negative 20% margins. So you're paying clients to work for them. The net result was actually 5% margins and declining. The good clients are literally funding the bad ones. It's running a charity, except nobody gets the tax deduction. This is why we built the Profit and Capacity Diagnostic, because you can't fix what you can't see. And most firms are flying blind. In 4 weeks, we give you 3 things that change that. The profit map, not just which clients are profitable, but why. Which services, which teams, which projects are making you or breaking you. And then the real capacity picture. Forget utilization, that's a vanity metric too. We show you realization, how much billable work actually gets billed and collected. Most firms think they're around 75% capacity, but we typically find it's about 110% capacity, which is why everyone's burnt out and there's no money. Your team is over capacity on unprofitable work. You're efficiently going broke. And then there's a recovery roadmap. Not theory, not best practices from a business book. Your specific plan based on your specific situation. Quick wins for immediate cash flow, like billing that $2 million in incomplete but unbilled work. Strategic changes for long-term health, like firing those clients and doubling down on your best, all prioritized by impact and effort. I know what you're thinking. Mike, this sounds like nice theory, but it isn't theory. I built this framework inside a $20 million agency that was bleeding cash despite record revenue. We didn't guess, we built a logic flow to track every dollar. We compared their potential gross margin against reality. We didn't just find lost money, we found specific behaviors, and we found 3.2 million in revenue variance. Work completed but never invoiced because of bad tracking. We found massive leverage loss in their top accounts. We fixed it. We stripped out bad processes and we recovered 8 points in margin. I took the same logic and built the profit map. It uses the exact same math. It identifies the same leakage categories, and now we can diagnose your firm in weeks and not months. You don't need a turnaround consultant. You need the data. And here's why the timing matters. Right now, you're either planning for 2026 or you're about to start, and you're doing it with incomplete, probably incorrect data. You're planning 2026 with bad 2025 data. You're setting budgets based on hope instead of reality, and you're making hiring decisions on gut feel when you might not need more people. Committing to growth without knowing if that growth will be profitable. Every week you wait is another week of money leaking out that you'll never recover, decisions made on bad data that you'll pay for later, team burnout getting worse, and completion getting sharper while you're getting more confused. The diagnostic takes 4 weeks. If you start now, by early January, you'll have complete clarity. You'll start 2026 knowing exactly where you stand and what to do. Or you can enter 2026 the same way you entered 2025, guessing, hoping, and wondering why revenue growth doesn't equal profit growth. I've been where you are. I've run P&Ls where revenue looked great, but we couldn't make payroll without a line of credit. I've had those 3 a.m. wake-up calls wondering where all the money went. That's why we built this diagnostic. Not as consultants who theorize, but as operators who've been in the trenches. My team has been CFOs at companies you'll recognize. We've seen this problem at every scale. We're only taking a limited number of firms through this in December and January, but not because of fake scarcity. Real capacity limits because we actually do the forensic work ourselves. This isn't automated. It's senior people doing senior work. Click the link below to book your 20-minute profit and capacity briefing. We'll look at your situation, confirm fit, and if it makes sense, we can start as early as next week. And remember, if you don't see clear value by week 2, you pay nothing further. That's how confident we are in what we'll find. Stop celebrating revenue while margins die. Stop guessing where the money goes. Start seeing the truth. Start fixing what's broken. The link is in the description. Let's get you from busy and broke to profitable and growing. If this resonated, hit the subscribe button. Next week, I'm exposing the capacity lies that your utilization reports are telling you. You might not like what you discover, but you'll need to hear it. And if you're sitting here there thinking, this is exactly my problem, don't wait until next week. Book that briefing call now, because December spots are genuinely almost gone.